I think now I'd like to work on these tires. I'd like to get the tires in place before we begin working on the underneath part, underneath the hood, the fenders, the cab, etc. So let's go ahead and work on these tires. I think these are pretty cool. These have some really interesting details to them. But let's see if we can find another reference image. Looks like maybe this one might help. Yeah, this has got some nice contrast between the treads and the tire here, so we can really kind of see what the shape of them is. So it looks to me like we've got, well, it's a repeating pattern. So we've got this piece and this piece, and it repeats all the way around the tire. And also it's mirrored and flipped 180 degrees and copied all the way around the tire as well. So it really looks like we only need to create two pieces, these two pieces here, for the tire treads. In addition, we've got these bolts here. We're going to use the same trick we used for the brackets around the window blocks here. We're just going to duplicate and rotate around the center object, but we're going to use an array to do that. And I think we can use an array for the treads as well. So let's see if we can do that. I think, first of all, I'm just going to take this tire and I'll just build off of this. Let me first move it out of that scene collection. It looks like we're in the vehicle main here. So I'll take this and right-click and I'll say move to collection, and we'll move it to the actual main scene collection up top. So there it is here. I'm going to call this tire so we know what that is. And then I'll go ahead and hide the vehicle main and the chains. We don't need that. And also, I think we don't need the cap fills here on either side. So I'll go to face mode and I'll hit that C key again for the circle select tool and just click and drag all of these. Hit X and delete faces, and I'll do the same thing over here because I don't think we need those right now, or at least we want to rebuild them. In addition, I want to add a mirror modifier, so whatever I do on one side happens on the other, and to do that I'm going to need to split it in half. So let's press Control R and add an edge loop down the center, and then I'll hit Enter 2 times to ensure that it's exactly down the center of the object. Now if I go to face mode, I can Alt select between two faces to select that whole face loop, hit X and delete faces. Now let's go ahead and add a mirror modifier to this right here. Not much happens, which tells us that it's probably the rotation. Let's try it. Control A and apply the rotation. Sure enough, there we go. I'll also turn on clipping because we want the points in the middle to merge together. And all right, so here we are. I'll turn on the edit cage on the other side so we can see it. I'll go into edge mode and alt click this edge, and now I'll begin right about in here. So this is where we're going to begin creating that tire. Let's go to the front view here. And so we want it to be about this width. So something like this. We need to extrude out and kind of curve the top and the bottom of the tire here. So let's go ahead and press E and X and pull out just a bit. And I'm trying to keep the polygons roughly the same size as I go here. And I'm going to hit E and X and pull out just a bit. And then I'm going to hit the S key and scale in just a bit to kind of curve the tire just a bit. And let's do that one more time. E, X, pull out. And then I'll hit the S key and scale in just a bit like that. So we've got that basic shape of the tire there. Okay, now we need to get all this in here. So what we should do is go ahead and hit E and S and scale in some, maybe like this. Maybe I'll pull out just a smidge, just a little bit. There we go. And then let's see where we need to go. Let's go to the side view, and it looks like we need to go all the way into here. That's where that rim begins, I think, right in here, right there. So with this selected still, I'll hit E and S and I'll scale in just a bit like this. There we go. We should probably push in some, right? Since it's kind of moving in toward the rim there. And then let's do that again, ES, and scale into about there. And also push in just a bit like that. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good shape for the tire. Let's bring back the vehicle main here and let's just take a look at it. Yeah, I think that's working pretty well. Okay, so hide that vehicle main again. And now we want to work on the wheel. And the wheel begins with this small ridge here. I could create a new cylinder and try and fit it in there, or I could just extrude off of this and then split it off as its own object. Let's take a look at doing that. I'll tab into edit mode and let's alt click this edge. And I think we just need to pull out. So E and X and pull out some. And then E and S and scale in a bit. And then we want to get this, it looks like it kind of curves in or pushes in a bit before it comes back out with this rim where all the bolts are. So let's press E and X and push in. And then let's hit S and kind of scale it in a bit. And then let's hit E and S just to give it a little bit of a indentation there. And then let's begin bringing it back up. So I'll press E and X and pull out, but I'll also scale in with the S key, kind of like that. See how this works. About like that, maybe. All right, and then let's get this piece where that first row of bolts are. I'll go back to the side view, and yeah, I think this is pretty good. We can see that first row of bolts there. So let's hit E and S and scale in to about here, like that. And then it looks like it pushes in again. So let's hit E and X and push in about like that. And now we need to get that place where the inside bolts are. So let's go ahead and hit E and S and scale into about right there. And now let's pull that center piece out, EX. I don't know, how far do you think it goes? Something like that? Okay. Now let's hit E and S and scale in. And I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to hit ES and scale in. And then I'm going to merge these points. So with this still selected, I'm going to press Alt-M and choose to merge these points at the center. And there we go. Okay. So we have that. I think that looks pretty good. We've also got it over here on the other side. However, I don't think it looks quite like this on the other side, because if we take a look at it kind of underneath here, that's not exactly how that looks. So I think it needs to be a little bit different on the inside than on the outside. So we're going to have to do a couple of things to be able to edit that inner part of the wheel. As I mentioned, I think I want to split this out, so I'll tab into edit mode and I'll just go to this edge right here, alt click that edge so it's all the way around there, like that. And I'm going to edge split that so it's two pieces of the same object. So let's press Control E and go to edge split right here. Now those are two different pieces. So if we go back and now select this part with the L key, you can see that's its own piece. All right, so let's now press the P key and split it out for its own object. Choose selection there. And now, so I think we can maybe grab that edge right here. Yeah, there it is. If we go to wireframe, we can see it there. And then I'm just going to hit E and X and just push this in like this. That's about all we need. We don't really need them to connect. So now let's go back to solid view, tab back into object mode, and there it is. So now it's its own object. So we could call this, so this one is tire, this one could be wheel. Let's call it wheel. And now we can go in and modify this, but we have to apply that mirror modifier. So I'll click apply here. And now if we come into here, let's grab these faces here with the circle select tool and press Control plus on the numpad. And I'm going to extend this out to about here and hit X and delete faces. Now we can take this edge right here, wherever that inside edge is. There it is, right there. And we can kind of work on this. It looks like it may go back a bit and scale in some. And maybe let's push it in. And I'll hit E and X and push that in. Maybe scale in a bit. And then I think I'll just close it up here. So E, S, scale it in like that. Push it in. Yeah, let's just try that. I'll hit E and Enter, Alt M at center. So there we go. We've just closed that off, right? All right, I think that's okay. We may have to alter it once we get it in there, but I think that'll work for now. So in the next video, what let's do is let's begin working on all the bolts. We'll need to create a bolt, put it in place, then use the array modifier to duplicate it and rotate it around the front of the wheel here. So that's coming up next.